Let's go. Music got me hyped. Big up to everyone. Thank you for joining me right now. 15 already in the chat, more than some people had in the whole channel today, but we're not 200 subscribers. Big up, everyone. Big up, everyone. Big up. Everyone's doing well. Liverpool beating Southampton 3-1. I'm joined by Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. How you doing, Rick?
Yeah, mate. I'm not doing too bad. Got a win before the World Cup starts. So the boys are going to go away with a bit more energy and hopefully a bit more happier with today's result. It's refreshing to see certain players step up today and get that all-important massive 3 points considering the other results that went on today.
Yeah, there were some mad games today. Leeds and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Jesus, you got Chelsea, Newcastle later, City losing. I've been saying this about Man City, though. I don't think Man City actually played well all season. I think Haaland's just mastered it. I really think Haaland has just mastered their performances, which now makes me more angry that we are where we are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see Arsenal win this Premier League.
It's bad that City are struggling. Not struggling, but they're not playing the best of football, and some of the results they're getting are not the best. And we've just had a shocker of the season up to this point, which makes it even more frustrating.
We got everyone in the chat. So, Jean Gray, how you doing? RP Nunez is a goat. F the haters. Big up Storm. Panoff, how you doing? Good, mate. Ricky as well. 6 times. Darwizzy, Stream Elements doing their thing. Big up Severian. Trudon. Virgil was shocking. Don't know about that. Gomez was.
Shock.
Big up Bailey, how you doing? Well, show me the money. Show me the oil money.
Yes,
man. It might be happening. Alisson was man of the match. Save it, guys. We'll get to that later on. But yeah, Alisson is obviously just class, and it pisses me off even more because he's clean shaven and he's better looking, and I hate it. And
he's clean shaven. He's basically come back already. He's like probably got a dark shadow, isn't he?
He's just like he's nothing. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. He's a good-looking fella, and then he's better looking when he shaves. The world's not fair, Rick. It's not. I've got a man crush on Alisson. I don't care. Trudon, I hope Haaland goes out in the groups. I hope Haaland go out in the group stages. Trudon coming 6 times. Coming with the hate. Love it. Metallica settings. Big up everyone. Nunez is crap, ain't it? He ain't got it. Terrible signing. Truly awful. Big up with the sarcasticness there. Big up Ricky as well. What the F man? Someone name. I love it. Perfect weekend. Liverpool win. Man City lose. I think Everton got smashed as well. And Chunky Lampard's gone. Almiron put Chelsea in a spliff. Big up the imposter, Ricky. Big up everyone in the chat. That goal was on Virgil, to be fair. Do you think that was on Virgil? See, I watched that goal. We'll talk about it in a minute, actually. Big up, Conrad. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Anthony in the house. How you doing? And Don Van Dijk. Jamie, remember you always said that these old squad players new buying because of Klopp. Well, moment FSG are getting away out. You can see it. Klopp do want his new player. Right, we get to that Klopp comment that he made earlier, like last night, that came out last night, because I do think Klopp threw the owners under the bus a little bit. And I think, I know everyone's look, I don't know how to put it, because Klopp isn't wrong. Don't get me wrong. He isn't wrong with what he said. But he did throw the owners under the bus a little bit, because if I was the owners listening to that, I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You happily signed a contract extension under the way we operate as a club. So I would be a bit like, wow. I mean, it's a bit, when he said, like, when the biggest things we ever did is when we got Coutinho and we got money in. I was like, all right, Jurgen, we all know this. Jurgen, why haven't you been saying this for 4 years, though?
Because they can't do nothing now.
No, and he's just like, I'm just going to let loose now. Fuck him.
Like, but they all have. Have. Klopp did it. James Pearce sort of did it in his article in The Athletic.
I mean, if you go keep buy something, I keep buy it, yeah. And if I am going to be a hypocrite, I admit to being a hypocrite. James Pearce and all that, they should keep to how they feel. Don't just change because you want to change how everyone else is changing. You know what I mean? If you say something, keep to it. That's what I always say. Everton are woeful. Yeah, Everton are shocking, man. But Gabriel Jesus is better signing of the season. Yeah, don't get me started on Gabriel Jesus. Alisson removing the beard while going to Qatar. Klopp's player. I love him. FSG to put a head horses in Klopp's pen. Godfather style. I mean, it's Darwin. Right, guys. Big up. There's 32 people in here already. Hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. It was the channel grow, as you know, guys. Get more eyes on the product. We're trying to get the 3K. Yeah, the legit way. Oh, dear. It's going to be one of them, I think. Right, guys. So, Ricky, with the team sheet come out an hour obviously before kickoff. Alisson, Trent, Joe Gomez. Now, there's all been different reports about Konate. Some said he had a little knock, and I think someone said he had family problems as well. Like family issue or something.
Yeah, I think it was. I see reports it was a knock. I didn't see the other thing, but if it's a knock, I don't think they really wanted to risk him before the World Cup.
No,
it's his first time going.
He probably just got caught on the foot in training or something like that. And we're just
Joe Gomez probably did it.
Yeah, I'm playing, man. But yeah, when you saw this team, Van Dijk, Robbo, Thiago, Fabinho, Elliott, Hendo not starting another game, weren't even in the team today.
Yeah, personal reasons he got left out for.
Yeah, that's the one. He got left out for personal
he got left out for personal reasons.
That's it. Salah, Bobby, and Darwin. So when you saw that first 11, what was your first thoughts?
Yeah, I thought bar Joe Gomez, I thought that was our best 11 that we have available. Bobby looks a different player this season. Obviously, I think they're in talks with him with a new contract. But I think that is our best 11. A lot of people hate Harvey Elliott in the midfield three. I agree to a certain extent. I don't think he's a centre midfielder, but I also don't think he's a winger because I don't think he's quick enough. But we can all see Harvey Elliott's got quality in him, and he's going to be a very good player in years to come. And we see the pass. If that was Kevin De Bruyne that played that pass for Nunes, everyone would be wetting themselves on social media, and so would the pundits. Nunes on the left is just chaos. I mean, we know our front three just entwine anyway. They all go different positions up there. They switch roles and everything like that. And Nunes is just on one, isn't he? I think he's took it to heart that everyone was writing him off after one game.
Yep.
So now he's out there scoring 2 goals again today. So it's exciting. Listen, I'm glad it's the World Cup now. I think we do need a break as a football club to re-go again when we come back after the World Cup. It's going to be interesting to see what the ownership situation is come when the transfer window opens. Because I generally think it's a further along down the line than what everyone's is coming out, because FSG don't release stuff to no one if stuff is not near enough done or in advanced talks.
Yeah, with that, I think Liverpool have been. I think FSG have been trying to sell a club for the last 6 months, and we haven't known about it. And it's all been done behind the scenes. Because Klopp's comments last night also were like a bit like, hang on, does he know something?
He looks a bit happier, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he looks very happy.
Does he know something we don't as well? Because he's very assured that whoever's taking over is investing lots of money in the club. The way
I think whoever's taken over investing or buying whatever it's going to be end up being, I think Klopp's had a massive input conversation-wise with these people. They've obviously promised him stuff that he's going to get in January and further along down the line in the summers to come. Because he looked so relaxed in that interview yesterday. He looked so
different, didn't he?
Pressure off his shoulders. And I think he realised he ain't got to bring James Milner on next season.
I don't know about that just yet. I'm going to put that thought to the side 1 minute.
Klopp's first sub was James Milner today.
If I see a midfield of Bellingham and a Barella or something like that in our midfield next season, and Milner's got a contract extension, and he still brings him on.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? But I think it's good though. Like, if we have got money to spend, which is being reported that it's going to happen, the likes of Harvey Elliott and Cavallo can then come out of the team a little bit, learn more, watch, and that's happening. But yeah, it's going to allow Cavallo, Elliott, and that not to play every week.
No,
and people like Darwin Núñez and them type of Diaz players will then benefit more with better players behind him in that midfield position. I know Thiago's different level, but you only see him once every 2 months. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do when this all fully gets completed.
Oh, definitely. Look, it's definitely exciting times to be a Liverpool fan. I know it might not seem at the moment where we are in the league, where everything's going, but the future. I mean, rival fans don't want this to happen. Let's get that right straight away, because, as I keep saying, when City got taken over, there were enough. Like, they've been relegated to League One, Championship, got their way back. Then, they were sort of a mid-table team, getting veteran players in their sides, weren't they? Like, and trying to build something. Then Mark Hughes took over, and they were buying average players too much money and stuff like that, and they were nowhere. And then they had to start from scratch. Newcastle, they're starting from scratch. This is Liverpool Football Club up here already, with some of the best players in the world already in their side. You just have to add to it. If I was a United fan and a Chelsea fan, and if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be a bit peed off as well. Because Newcastle would be like, right, we are taking over now. We are taking over. And then they like, oh, fuck, Liverpool go get taken over. Liverpool get the same sort of backing that we're getting. Then it's going to be hard for them as well.
But what we'll say, though, is a lot of people on social media are crying at the minute with certain potential people that could come in. Listen, ain't no Mickey Mouse coming in paying $4 billion for Liverpool Football Club and then not doing anything with it. You can't just come in and spend $4 billion and then hope we do well. You're going to invest in that team as well. So it's going to be someone with deep pockets, I think. There's a few names being mentioned, but no one really knows who it is. But it's going to be someone with deep pockets. It has to be for the price they've got to pay for the club. And then, listen, the infrastructure's done. Contracts are done. Stadium, training ground.
Nothing
We've
really.
got no debt.
No, exactly.
All you've got to do is buy players.
That's like, as you say, of all the other clubs, they've had to put a lot of infrastructure into it. With us, it's just come in and just buy a couple of players.
Mbappe, Bellingham.
I mean,
like that.
And to be fair, these players are. Look, it's not even unrealistic. If Liverpool get back in, where Liverpool are, with Jurgen Klopp as their manager, of course Mbappe'd want to play for Liverpool. Mbappe, he's got. I think he has. He's got a soft spot for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool in a way.
Yeah.
And if Liverpool come in for him, and went, yeah, we'll give you the wages you want. And you go, he's going to play for us. I mean,
I generally think we get Bellingham now. I generally think we get him.
I think we're going to get him anyway, even if it was just FSG. I just had this feeling anyway. I think FSG are going to give Liverpool a going away present sort of thing. Because also the way Klopp was talking as well, it's like he knows he's going to get something in January as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it probably won't be Bellingham in January, but Yeah, I definitely see it happening, especially if these owners come in before next summer's transfer window.
Yeah, you got to look at the thing as well with Gordon. Gordon's now taking step backs and passed over majority of the roles to
because he's
Hogan.
He's doing the
Yeah,
sales
so
side.
so it's got to be further along the line for. He was the third highest shareholder in the FSG till Redbird come in. So for him to take a step back and move away from all Liverpool related, they're moving him back to the States as well. So it's a lot further along than what it is coming out.
It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time, and then we won today as well, which was back-to-back with Premier League wins.
Yeah,
it's quite mad that in the last 10 games in all competitions, we've actually won 8 and lost 2. It's a weird stat considering how weird we've been, but this season. But look, that today's win, last week's win, they were massive for us, in my opinion. And I think this World Cup's just come at the right time for this team to just regroup, get players back from injury. Hopefully, no one gets injured at the World Cup. And I literally do think this team can get into that top 4, quite not easily, but comfortably, because we're one of the only teams who can go on a run. Out of everyone who's around that area, looking for top 4, Chelsea, look at Chelsea. I think Chelsea go be sort of like win a couple, lose a weird one, lose a couple, win a couple, lose a weird one. Just the way they are at the moment. And Spurs, that's very fair. One of Spurs' first goal shouldn't have counted because of the foul on the goalkeeper today. I mean, Spurs got a bit lucky. Spurs got lucky. And I think Spurs lost today. That would have been 4 in a row.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're struggling.
Yeah, so it was definitely a very, very good win. And let's go through some of these players. So let's talk about. I just want to talk about Southampton's goal for a minute. Che Adams has scored. So I quickly just watched it back on my phone just before we went live, and because everyone was saying it was Virgil's fault on the free kick. So I was looking at it. It's actually Joe Gomez's goal side of him, and so Van Dijk's behind Che Adams, and Gomez is in front of him. Right? Gomez don't run with him. And Van Dijk runs with him, but behind him, so he can't get in front. If Gomez just runs with him, he just heads it away. And it's just job done. I'm not saying Virgil ain't at fault totally, but yeah, when you're goal side and you let your striker get away from you, I don't know what. If Canate played today, Canate heads that away.
Joe Gomez, when the ball's in the air, Joe Gomez seems to not know where he is. He loses track and sight of the ball. But again, I can't stand when we give free kicks away. Why do we do such a high line?
It was a bit high for a Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, and we know Ward-Prowse is quality from set pieces. And listen, Van Dijk, we all know is Dandy's tools. He has. Listen, for the World Cup, you don't want to get injured for that. The biggest concern with Van Dijk for me will be is if he comes back from that World Cup and he's the same as what he is now, we're in trouble. I'm hoping to see that the best Virgil van Dijk come back after the World Cup, regardless of what happens there for him, because there's nothing after that international wise for him to do. So I'm hoping he comes back and turns into the best defender in the world. There,
you're going to see a saucy Virgil at the World Cup, and he's going to piss everyone off.
Watch. I've got him in the sweepstake,
and you're all going to be like, "What the fuck?" So he was just. I mean, have you seen his interview on Gary Neville's Overlap?
Yeah.
He basically said it himself without saying it, didn't he?
Yeah.
When they spoke about the World Cup, he basically said, sort of like, yeah. Because look, I don't blame him in a way. He got injured before the Euros, didn't he? And this is probably, is he going to play another World Cup? He'd be what, 34, 35?
So, 3 years, isn't it? The next World Cup is shorter than
So what is he going to be? What is he, 30 now, 31 this season? And then what, 33, 34?
Yeah, so he could potentially play in that.
Yeah, depending on what his form's like. So he's probably looking at it and thinking, like, you know what, it's probably going to be my one and only chance playing a World Cup. I don't want to miss it. And when you think about that, he's probably not thinking about it when he goes on the pitch, but it's there, ain't it? It's in the back of his head, itching away. And I was surprised he actually went in for that tackle today where he got trod on the foot as well. And you could see Virgil after it sort of he looked like, no, I'm not doing that again.
He's got to make it sort of look a little bit realistic, innit?
Yeah.
In terms of trying. So, but
And he just like, no, I'm not going for another challenge today. You lot go. I'll just sit back here. You lot go.
Calling Joe Gomez over, you're gonna have to get involved, lad.
Yeah. But when Virgil comes back from that if he's playing tremendous in the World Cup, then yeah, we're all going to go fucking hell, Virgil. But then if he does that when he comes back, it's all forgiven at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Pat Man's hiding. If you don't know who Pat Man is, Rick, he's a Man City fan, but he's in our chat all the time. He's great. We love him here, actually. He's good with the lads in the chat and we have good banter. He's a friend of the channel. He really likes it. But yeah, he's gone hiding today. He's not here yet. He's not here yet. He comes with a banter, man. He's a good guy, though. He's a good guy. Yeah, where's Pac-Man? Pac-Man's gone AWOL. Pac-Man is doing a Bin Laden. Jesus, Trudon. Just a bit much. Jeez. Yeah, so we opened the scoring. Bobby Firmino. Beautiful header from a Robbo cross. From a free kick. I think it was a free kick out on the right-hand side. So Robbo took it with his left foot, curling in. When I was watching it on the stream earlier, the commentators were saying, goalkeeping error in a way, didn't move his feet quick enough. But I will say about Bobby, I think he might be a little underrated in the air. He gets quite a few headed goals, don't he?
Yeah.
I thought he was a good header. Flicking it where the ball's going and all that. I'm happy for Bobby. I mean,
I love Bobby. He's one of the originals. There's talk about him getting a new contract, and I'm seeing on social media that a lot of people are shocked in terms of him getting a new contract because where there's obviously takeover talk and investment, do the club really want to be starting to offer contracts out in case the new people don't want him? But listen, the club's going to run as normal till it's all done anyway, so I'm glad he's getting a contract. Give him another 2-year deal. That's another option. What's the point depleting this squad more and then having to go spend more on a backup when Bobby can do it anyway? Yeah,
I'm totally fine with Bobby getting a new deal because there ain't many players like Bobby, if you know what I mean, coming off the bench. Bobby has the ability of, he can come off for the bench, 20 minutes ago and he can hold up the play in attacking areas. He can defend from the front where you need him. He's got things about his game. He's basically what Arsenal fans are saying about Gabriel Jesus this season. It ain't about his goals. Like we've been bleating on. How many times have Liverpool fans been bleating on about Bobby? It's just not what he does in front of the goal. It's his whole game. And then we all got told, no, as a striker, it should be about goals. Now, you got people like Gabriel Jesus doing it for Arsenal, and they're all like, no, it's not about his goals. It's about what he does. And it's like, see, we tried to tell you. And no, I'd just give Bobby a new deal because the forward area, there's no point depleting it if you're not going to get anyone in. Bring Cav in as well. Big up Cav. Cav, I think you and Ricky have been on the same show before, ain't you?
Yeah. How do you reckon? You good, mate?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good.
Yeah, we've had, like, as you say, depleting our team. Like, we sort of depleted it a little bit this season by letting Origi and Minamino go. And, so if Bobby's there to be kept, keep him, for another year or two. I don't think it actually harms the squad in a way like that's really give Milner another contract sort of thing. That harms the squad in a position where we need to get rid of midfielders to bring in the fresh midfielders. But, our attacking line with your Jotas, your Diaz's, your Salahs, your Bobbies and things like that, it's fine for me to give him a new deal. Why let him go at the moment? If you're not going to bring anyone in right now, it's pointless to me. It really is. Don't know about you, Kev, but Bobby, new deal, performance today. What do you reckon? Where do you feel?
Oh, it's so tough because Bobby's just so flip-flop in his performances. Like, today he was great. Like, touch was good. Turning people, linking up all the forwards. And you can call him the system again after the game today. But then he'll play he won't play next week, but he'll play next game, and his touch is terrible, and he looks completely off it. He's got no pay. That then.
Jesus.
Why are they doing this to me? Now
I don't know, Kev. I don't know. What have you done to him? What have you done to him?
But right, it's going off completely. There you are. Yeah, but he's so inconsistent. When he's good, he's great. You know, and there's not many people in the world that can do that job like he can.
No.
But it's just, you know, you just never know what you're going to get with him. Like, that's the trouble. So you just really can't rely on him in important games. But I'd keep him just for vibes, to be honest with you. Like, just vibes, and then like cup games, and then drop him in the odd league or Champions League. As long as we're not relying on him, then I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's back up to the backup, then I'm sound. I'm all right. But what's going on here?
I don't know. But hang on, Kev. Is this what we're saying?
Jesus.
Is this what we're saying?
I kind of see it a little bit.
Oh, good.
But I mean, Bobby, like, when he's good, you love him, don't you? Because he's just so technically gifted and skillful and everything. But as I say, when he's off it, it's like having 10 men on the pitch. So, new deal. I suppose it depends on what state we're in in terms of the ownership and finances and stuff.
Well, we're going to be in a Dubai state. That's what we're going to be in, mate.
Yeah, look, if we're rolling in cash, right, then yeah, keep him, not bothered. But he's on a hefty whack as well. And if he stays on that wage and it starts to hamper what we can bring in, then it becomes a bit of a problem. But as a player, yeah, keep him around. It does no harm, does he?
No, exactly. Sorry, my wife is just trying to call me because she's trying to get Peter Kay tickets. I'm like, hang on, just chill.
Hey, Jay, I've got them.
You fucker. You can leave. Right? I was on O2 priority yesterday. And no, not yesterday, the day before. And I was there, and I was in the queue. I was like number 3 or 4 or something. I'm about to get them, and the site crashed, and I couldn't get back. And then when I went and tried and go on this morning at 10 a.m. when I went back online, could you get in there? But she's just managed to find.
Do you know what I need to do? How many people are watching? 28. Yeah, for the 28 people, right? Go on gigsandtours.com. Go to the checkout, and then put the O2 priority like URL in, and you'll get the discount from the O2 priority thing. But if you try to go through the O2 priority thing, it just crashes because there's so many people trying to get on the site.
Constantly. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, she's really put me off now. Where was I? So Bobby, let's keep Bobby. I mean, I think there's no. He's the one player I will actually be heartbroken that left under the Jurgen Klopp era, because he's just. How can you not love Bobby Firmino, for goodness sake? He just, and I think games like this when you're playing a Southampton at home, I think it's perfect for a Bobby Firmino to play where you can rest others. I think that's a perfect sort of game and scenario for him to be playing in. And I think that's and then when you're playing against the bigger boys, maybe you want to go with a bit more fresher, younger legs, more quicker paced forward line. But that's what you should have a squad for, ain't it? So you can judge games by the players of the games you're playing. So Southampton at home at Anfield, yeah, Bobby can play this with people around him. Man City next week, maybe I'll go with Darwin, Jota, and Salah or something like that. That's what we should be doing, ain't it, Ricky? As a squad, this is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Firmino, depends who plays with him, is what Bobby you get on the pitch. But he's definitely a great option to have for the cup games, the smaller home team games. Like I said, depending who's on the pitch with him. But yeah, I wouldn't get rid of Bobby. Like, listen, we've let Origi go, Minamino go. I don't even think we'll replace Shaqiri. He's gone. So it's going to be interesting with the ownership type. If we've got loads of cash, then we could be dangerous. So we'll see.
We might need him, Jamie, because with Diaz coming back and Nunes in the side, that partnership might not work. On paper, Diaz left, Nunes up top, Salah right. Looks great. Might not work. It might be too many people trying to do the same thing in that forward line. You might need a bit of a facilitator. So unless you're going to sign somebody like Bobby or the Bobby of old, you might need to keep him, because start next season, depending on who we sign, if we go with Diaz, Núñez, and Salah, and it's not working out because there's a real gap, nobody to link the midfield and the attack, then he might have to revert back, going to Bobby and sacrificing one of Diaz or Núñez and putting one of them on the left. We've seen it today. Núñez on the left with Firmino playing well and facilitating the link between the other two forwards. It worked really well. It might. Yeah. We might not be so. What's the word? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm getting distracted here now. But you're
getting distracted as well. What are you getting distracted by? Everyone's getting distracted. Oh.
Go on.
Ricky, you distracted? Yeah, he's on his phone. There you go. Ricky,
no, excuse me, mate. He's got a bet going on. He's got who did he have? He had. Oh, who's it? He had. Brentford to beat City, and he's got Newcastle to beat Chelsea, and he don't know whether to cash out before it kicked off. But he's left it in.
I think Newcastle beat.
Yeah, I think they will as well. Yeah.
The Chelsea team that's been put out is shocking.
Yeah. Potter's like, fuck this shit. I don't want any of these crap players. Like Koulibaly, he was good 7 years ago.
Yeah, he's too old to come over here.
Yeah, he was just, and Thiago Silva, age is catching him up now. You can tell this season. And they bought a 35-year-old Aubameyang. I mean, it's just, it's their fault. Fuck, that's,
they've spent cash as well. Chelsea has spent cash.
But they invested it on crap.
Yeah, they've got nothing to show for it.
Do you remember when Tottenham got all the money for Bale and just wasted it? You know what I mean? At least when we sold Coutinho, we got two of the best players in the world in their position. You know what I mean? So, like, there's a way, not everyone can spend money. This is the thing with money. Not everyone's very good at spending it. But where you were talking about Darwin, I was going to talk about it later, but you came on to him, and I think that's, my wife's just bought him. Yes, and there you go. She's got a message in the corner of my computer. Done.
So unprofessional tonight. Sorry, guys.
Done. Love it. So that's now again put me off. Darwin Núñez. Well, you were just chatting about him there. Oh, right. Jurgen Klopp has said it himself. I think he said it maybe after the Napoli game, actually, that he thinks Darwin Núñez operates better off the left-hand side. Mm-hmm. Now, Luis Diaz is probably our first team left wing forward.
Mm-hmm.
Have we got a bit of a problem for Luis Diaz getting back in his team if Darwin keeps playing like this?
A good problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great problem to have. What I would say, like Jeremy, we're in some of the same group chats, aren't we, during the game, and a lot of the guys were saying, Diaz is going to struggle to get in with Núñez playing so well on the left, and guys are making various points, but I think the one thing is Diaz looks good on the eye. Like, his touch is nice, he's skillful, he'll beat a man out on the flank, and he can take the game by the scruff of the neck when he needs to cut in, get a shot. It's quite. He's been quite good at sort of when we've been down this season, being the guy to go to sort of get this game by the scruff of the neck and get us a goal. But his overall play, I don't think he quite works in the team just yet. I think like the players around him don't quite know what to do when he's on the ball, and the runs he makes, it just doesn't quite fit. Whereas with Núñez, that's how it started out. But actually now, especially if you look at today's game, his positioning is much better. He's receiving the ball much better. He's linking up better. And then, yes, he's not got the skill. He's technically not as good on the ball as Diaz. But what he is he's just direct. As soon as he gets the ball, he's going by you or through you or around you. And he's trying to shoot a goal. He's trying to put the ball across the box. All he cares about is creating chances, either for himself or for somebody else. And that's where he's got a one-up on Diaz, because you watch 290 minutes of them both. Diaz will look the much better player, but walk away with no goals or assists, whereas Diaz will walk away with maybe a goal and an assist, or at least a goal. And then you've really got to think about what's important, haven't you? And that's fine. Like, that situation with Diaz might be absolutely fine if it like facilitates a forward, whoever that may be, or Salah getting more goals. But he needs other people to be scoring and benefit to justify him starting over Núñez, because Núñez is directly getting goals and assists. So, it might be a conversation, but I suppose it depends if Núñez is going to continue out on that left or be a centre forward.
Well, That's the thing, ain't it, Ricky? Just does he like Cav was saying there? Does he stay on the left hand side? But at this moment in time, when Jota comes back, when Luis Diaz comes back, and you got Darwin, you got Mo, and you got Bobby. That's a great problem to have for any manager. It's a problem we all want. We want squad depth. I get a bit like when people say, "Why did we buy Darwin if he's best out on the left and we got Diaz already?" But don't you want squad depth, Flo? Don't you? Don't you want this squad depth that you can change things around? I actually think Diaz can play on the right. I think he could probably play out on the right. I think I saw him play there a couple of times when under Liverpool already, and I thought he looked decent. But Cav's right. Diaz is pretty on the eye with what he does, but I think Darwin is more impactful. Darwin's more of a threat. Darwin's just straight. He just runs straight. He's going at you. He wants to get in the box and get a shot out, or he's going to have an assist. His link-up play is so underrated. It's better than what people give him credit for. Oh my God. That almost assist he had today for Salah, by the way, Salah should have scored from it as well. Salah scoring that's a hell of an assist from him as well. Mm-hmm. And he's got a good relationship with Mo, ain't he? They seem to have a good relationship. So when Diaz comes back, Ricky, what do we do? Do we go, right, Diaz, you just have to sit out because Darwin's in good form at the moment, and it's a good thing? Or do you find somewhere for all three of them to play?
I think Bobby comes out, regardless of the form Bobby's in. I think Bobby now knows what role he plays in the team. It won't surprise me if you put Diaz on the right and go Salah through the middle. I like Diaz. I think he's a very good football player. He's very good on the eye. The thing that concerns me a little bit with Diaz is his end product. He don't score enough for me in certain positions. Like we see Mane on that left-hand side was just burying goals for fun. I know he was a Premier League proven player. It will take time for Diaz, but I just think once Diaz starts to end goals and assists to his game, he'll be a top player. Might need to bulk up a little bit in terms of the physicality of the Premier League because he does go down a little bit too easy sometimes. I do think Darwin Núñez will turn into a centre forward eventually. I think at the minute, because of how raw he is, I just think they're letting him have a free role, let him do what he wants to do up front, move different positions. He's just chaos, isn't he? Like when he's running with the ball, he's just all over the place, and defenders can't really adjust to it. We see what he did to Emerson Royale at Tottenham, absolutely buried the geezer at right back. But it's exciting times. Listen, we've been complaining for years that we ain't got enough decent squad depth up top. Man City have got loads of it. Man United have got a lot of it, but probably not top quality of it. Chelsea are probably on par with us in terms of lacking of it. But what's the point of building squads that you want to compete on all fronts for and not having these decent options to have? And hopefully, if we do get taken over, the money will be there to invest in other positions to give us better squad depth. I think the midfield's horrendous in terms of depth. I think in the market, we go for another winger. I think there's talk about the kid at PSV and Gakpo coming in. Apparently, he's told PSV that he wants to leave in the summer.
What about this one? If money comes in, we know Klopp loves Martinelli. And
he's
if
in the
money,
sign on a new 5-year deal.
Yeah, but if money comes in, there ain't no option.
I'd take him in a heartbeat. I think he's class.
And Klopp loves him. And the way Klopp was talking in that press conference yesterday that went out last night is that there's obviously players out there that he desperately wanted, but we couldn't afford. Now, if new investment comes in and he can afford it, I'd love to see the players that Klopp's got in mind. Yeah, because if he's saying there's players out there that he's always wanted, but we couldn't afford it, and new money's desperately needed now to do that, I'd love to know who he has.
You know what players they are, though.
Yeah,
Bellingham, Mbappe.
If we get Bellingham, if Bellingham and Mbappe both play for Liverpool at the same time, I probably will. Can you imagine Mbappe, Darwin Núñez, and Mo Salah?
Yeah, but this is the thing, though. This is the thing, though, Jay. Like going back to Martinelli and Mbappe, the one position on the pitch we've got depth in is that left forward position. You got Diaz, Nunes, and Jota that can play out there. Like it's
they're
actually
painful, aren't they?
It's actually the one area it's the one area of the pitch we actually don't need another pacey forward in. Like we need somebody either like that on the right hand side, or we need a centre forward that links it all. I don't think you can put Mbappe in this team. He'd be wanting to play exactly like Nunes does. Get the ball out on the left and go by people and get a shot away.
Yeah.
Or try and link up, but from that left-hand side. I think Martinelli and Mbappe, whilst they'd be great, I think we've already got them type of forwards. But
Nkunku deal.
I think whenever the money comes in,
Nkunku might be one.
I mean
whenever the money comes in, midfielders, isn't it? You really need to go get.
I mean, to be fair, I was thinking about it today. Actually, do Liverpool actually have the best forward depth in the league?
When fit, yeah, I think so.
Jota, Diaz,
that's the issue, though. They never always fit, are they?
Mo and Bobby. I'm thinking of Tottenham. Tottenham got Kulusevski, Son, and Kane. Son's not a player what was now, and Richarlison. Chelsea have got Sterling, Havertz, Aubameyang.
We should go rescue Havertz from Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Havertz is a diamond of a footballer. My thing with Havertz, though, Kai Havertz, I think he's just one of them players that might not suit English football. That's just the thing. I think he's, I've seen a lot of players in different leagues, just they can't adapt to that league, but they're a tremendous player and they just go to a league where they're comfortable in and they look. I think Kai Havertz, I think he wants the game. I think Kai Havertz, I think you spoke about this before. I think he wants the game to be a bit slower for him to do what he wants to do, because the Premier League is just like, it's like basketball, ain't it? It's up and down, ain't it? And he can't get into his rhythm. Where in Germany, the game's a little bit slower. They get a bit more time. And like he said, like the little teams in Germany usually turn up against the big teams and just get rolled over. Where in the Premier League, that ain't the case. They give it 100% go. And I think players like Kai Havertz, he's just not really got his head around that for Chelsea, I think. Also, Chelsea just don't play him in the right position. He's a number 10.
He's the perfect replacement if you're looking long term for Bobby's replacement. There's only two players really I think out there: Joel Felix at Atletico, and Kai Havertz.
Yeah. I mean, when he played for Leverkusen, he played in that like 4-4-1-1 formation, didn't he? He sort of played behind the striker, so he had that creativity, and he could get in behind the striker as well. This other striker dropped deep, and there's creativity between the two. But Chelsea, they just sort of like either play him up front, he's a complete own with no wingers, or, just play him out wide where he hasn't got the pace to affect football games. It is weird, but Liverpool could be in the market for them kind of players. But I do think January we'll see a midfielder definitely came in. I personally think I know he's injured at the moment because he broke his ankle, but I literally think it'll be Lema who will come in.
Oh, I hope not.
I just got
he's more injury prone than what we've got in midfield already.
I just got a feeling it will be him because he's only 20 mil.
He can't Bayern Munich in the summer for free.
Yeah, well, apparently there's something. I was listening to. I can't remember what his name is now. He's on Twitter. He's like does the German Sky Sports stuff. And or was it Christian Volk? Is it Christian Volk?
You got him or you got is it Pletty?
Yeah. Them guys, and they were talking about it and say that. Bayern Munich are not interested. So,
I hope we don't get him. Listen, if we're getting cash, we shouldn't be floating around someone
it's
always injured.
Or we just surprise everyone and just go and get Bellingham in January and just surprise the world. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
We could have done with them going out of Europe. If they went out of the Champions League, I think it might have been better option for Bellingham to leave in January.
Tell you what make me laugh, though. If we do buy in January, we actually spend quite a bit of money. And people will be like, where's the money come from? Early investment. They've already
Top Reds will hate it.
They've already put a few quid in.
You raise a good topic though, Jamie. Like, even if we get like really good midfielders,
I'm just gonna sort kids out. You two go.
Yeah, even if we got like Bellingham in or whoever, right? It's to say though, Bailey's just put in the chat another good midfielder. You still got to figure out what you're gonna do with that forward three, because I think moving forward, Klopp is going to want to stick with the 4-3-3. He's obviously done a full circle on it this season.
Yeah.
I think that's quite clearly it's his preferred formation. He moved away from it because of the injuries and the poor results and performances. He's gone back to it, and seemingly we look better actually playing 4-3-3 again. But it's always worked with that link man in the centre, and you put a couple of names out there. How attainable João Felix is, I don't know, because Atletico Madrid are obviously out of the Champions League, and I think financially they're probably going to have to let some guys go. And then the other one, Havertz, he got no chance of getting Havertz, but there's actually not too many of them type of forwards out there. And obviously Bobby, if he moves on or even stays, how reliable is he? It's a really tricky one, because you've got for me, I personally don't think Núñez and Diaz will work. I just don't think they're on the same wavelength. I think they're both good players in their own rights, but I just can't see it working between them. And I think it's probably going to be one of the not problems, but something we've really got to look at seriously in the summer. I don't think simply just strengthening the midfield is gonna be enough for us next season to go and compete for a title again. I think they've got to really figure out what that forward three is going to be. I mean, in an ideal world, Núñez, Diaz, and Salah works, because it does have everything. It's got pace, it's got power. It's goal threat, trickery, everything. But I don't know. I just don't quite see it linking up quite as fluid as we expect. I mean, look at Arsenal this season. Jesus ain't a particularly good goal threat, but he's that link man, isn't he? I feel like we might need somebody like that. So it'll be interesting. I think we definitely need to sign someone in the summer that brings it all together. I don't think simply a midfielder is gonna make that happen. So.
I just think it's gonna depend on, because obviously you said about Klopp formation changes. I think Klopp in the end figured it out that it was personnel, it weren't formation. The midfield is going to be interesting to see what type of player, because listen, Klopp's never had money to spend, so it's going to be interesting to see what he thinks is a decent option in terms of what money we do get to spend, and what players are out there that are available. I think obviously Jude Bellingham's number one target. We all know that he's probably number one target in a few teams, but it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Like, you've got the likes of Thiago that, in a sense, you could probably save Thiago for the bigger games next season if we do get money to spend and buy midfield players. Thiago can then only play. You don't need to play teams, the smaller teams at home with Thiago. You can obviously use the options you've got, but. Yeah, I agree. I do think you need a link man in between, but
unless he makes one of the three midfielders that kind of link, plays a more traditional 10, if you like. Say you got someone in like a Maddison, say, and it's still 4-3-3, but he's advanced of the two, So it'd be a 4-3.
You could change the 4-3-3 up, so the 4-3-3 don't have to be a defensive three in the middle; it can be an attacking three. So you just leave two and you put one in front of them. And
effectively, it becomes a 4-2-3-1, effectively.
Yeah.
But or it's not forwards we look at. We look at 10s and we look at converting them into more of a false 9. I just look. The point I'm trying to make is I just don't feel like the forwards we've got at the minute. I feel like you need another Bobby for it all to pull together.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean with like Darwin and Diaz, and because they're quite similar in what they do off the ball as well with their work rate and all that. And I think they will get in each other's way a little bit sometimes. But yeah,
Jota could be the Bobby.
But
role.
That's what Jota's there for.
Yeah, I think Jota could do the Bobby role.
Jota, I literally think if everyone was fit right now, I do think Klopp's preferred front three would be Diaz, Jota, Salah, and Darwin as an impact player, learning the game for the season, going into the following season as his main player. I think that's why the way he wanted to do it. That's why Darwin's not really played. I don't think Darwin's played a 90-minute match yet. I don't think he's played a 90-minute match at all this season yet. So who do you
think, Jamie, out of who you've seen, links up better with the team out of Núñez and Diaz?
Núñez.
For the guy out of the two that is technically worse, I actually agree.
See what Núñez does, because he's so powerful with his running and he's so quick and he's so dynamic. Centre back, they try and double him up. So if you're trying to double him up and need to threat, what that does then is leaves a lot of space in defensive areas for your likes of Mo to get into. That's why Mo's form has got better since Darwin's been in the team. Because Mo's now finding the space that he needs to do what he can, you know. And because Darwin, he gets it on that left-hand side and he don't stay left. He comes inside straight away. His first touch is always inside. That's his first touch. He always wants to get inside because he always wants to get around the frame of the goal. He wants to be around that. And when you do that, you open space up. Robbo are overlapping, got lots of space, opens up a gap. Defenders get pulled across. Then you've got gaps for Mo on the other side because the defence have to shift across. And that's why, for me, Mo's performances have been a lot better since Darwin has been in the team as well. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence.
And look at Mo play, right? As soon as he receives the ball, right, he turns and he picks his head up and he's constantly looking for that left forward. What run has he made? And he's hoping he's ran across the box or across the centre back to pick him out. If you notice all of the fabulous goals he scored against like Man City and Watford and stuff, then really tricky goals, go back and watch them. He picks his head up first. He always looks, when he picks the ball up on that right-hand side, he always picks his head up and goes, who can I feed through? Who can I play? Because he's been so used to playing with Mane, and Mane used to make that run all the time. It's no coincidence that we've seen Jota score goals where he's ran across, took it on his chest, round the keeper, scored. You know, we've seen Mane do it. We now see Nunes do it. How many times did Nunes make that run today?
Darwin is the most like Mane player we've had.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
He's not like Mane, obviously, because Mane was different. But
I think today he was.
He's very Mane-like off the left-hand side. You know, Mane's always first thing was, I'm playing on the left, but as soon as I get the ball and coming inside and I want to be in and around the goal, I'll take players on, I'll threaten players. Yeah. You know, I'll open up space for Bobbies and your Mo's and stuff like that. And Darwin's very much like that, where Luis Diaz is more of a natural winger.
He'll stay wide.
He stays wide. Darwin could play you could play 4-4-2 and literally play Luis Diaz as a left-sided wide midfielder in a 4-4-2 because that's more his natural position. He's more of a winger. He's a proper wide-out player. Where Darwin is, if he's playing off the left, Darwin's an inside forward like Mane used to be, and like Mo is on the right. And I think it helps the team. And look, it's great options to have because if Darwin ain't doing it in a game, you got Diaz on the bench. You know what I mean? There ain't many teams around that have got that kind of quality.
Exactly.
You know, if Diaz is starting, he's not doing it. You got Darwin on the bench. That's quality for quality. You know, and we can't argue that. We literally can't argue that. It's good business by the club, and in the right areas, they've done well, in my opinion, Ricky. But as you say, the midfield area, let's just sort it. Let's get someone in this January, innit, Ricky? And then in the summer, let's get a couple more in. And then let's give it a good go next season. Because I feel like if we do that, if we do our business properly in January and the summer, with Klopp at the helm still, with a few players that are, you know, your Harveys are going to be better next season. Hopefully Carvalho is more settled and better next season. Darwin's going to be better next season. Diaz is going to be better next season. Jota's going to be more experienced. Then you're getting new players in as well. It does bode well.
Yeah, I think centre midfielder in January, I think will get done. Then I think another 2 centre midfielders in the summer. I think you need another centre back, and I'd get rid of Joel Matip in the summer. Bring another one in. Van Dijk seems to be playing a lot of football. Maybe that's the problem with Van Dijk. He's tired, as well as not wanting to put full effort in. But I think, so 2 centre midfielders in the summer, centre back, and I'd potentially get another right back in. Because you might listen. A lot of people don't want Trent to go in midfield, but who knows? Trent going into midfield could be in like a De Bruyne type player with the passing ability that he's got. It might be worth giving it a try because he can't defend. And someone said to me the other day, is Trent too big? Is Trent putting too much muscle?
Have you seen his body shape changing?
That's why he can't move. He can't move.
There's a picture, there's a side-to-side picture of an 18-month difference between Trent's body shape. And I said it this season when we started this season, when I saw him in pre-season, I was like, wow,
Keeps you in the protein adverts, doesn't he? He's drinking too much of that.
Someone's been on the salad diet, ain't they? So, I do think that might be a case because he hasn't got the frame to carry it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, some people have got the frame. You know, like me, I've got the frame to carry it. Some people haven't got. Some people haven't got the frame to carry it. You know, and I feel like with Trent, he might not. He hasn't got the biggest shoulders in the world and things like that, and he just might not have the frame to carry it, and it might weigh him down a bit. No, you hear that with fighters sometimes when they carry a bit too much and their performances are slower and their movements are slower. You know, might be a thing with Trent. Maybe he just needs to come down a little bit on the weight. I'm not sure, but I thought Trent was all right today, to be fair. I don't want Trent playing with Gomez. That's my problem. You got Calamity and Calamity next to each other. Do you know what I mean? And you just like, I know one of them are going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And if they both make the mistake at the same time, then it's curtains. You know what I mean? So I thought Trent was actually all right today. I thought his defending was not too bad. But there's one person next person I actually want to talk about. This geezer right here. Robbo. Coming back from his injuries now. He's had time off. I think the time off has done him really, really good. He's now got the most assists in the Premier League history as a defender. 53 assists. And he's only 28 years old.
Yeah. What a stat. Wow. What an accomplishment, sorry. You know, most assists for a fullback. That's amazing. Who did he overtake? Leighton Baines?
Yeah, I think he's level. They're level.
Yeah, they're level. I think they might be level.
Or
there's a lot of weird stats going online at the moment.
Yeah.
They're either level or he's got one. But Leighton Baines has been playing for like 55 years. So, you know, it's a heck of a stat. Now, Cav, since he's came back from injury, you know, he looks like the old Robbo, don't we? That we used to love, powering forward. I see him today. He's dribbling past players as well with his, you know, and it's not a dribble where you're doing them by technique. It's just his power and the determination to get past the player. Yeah. You know, he's going past players. He's finding that cross again, where before where you could tell he was so tired, his cross was low. Now he's finding that final ball again, that crossing, them balls where he gets it a bit inside left and he tries to curl that one first time in the box. You know, he's becoming threatening again, ain't he?
Yeah, when he wasn't playing quite so well, we all just agreed that the reason we didn't criticize him quite as much as others was just because we knew he was just tired. Like he was just so tired. Like he played so many games for Liverpool and games for Scotland that we knew the guy just needed a break. And that's why a lot of people were really wanting Tsimikas to play more to give him that break. But he got it through getting injured, which isn't the ideal way. But since he's come back, he's just had that. He's just felt rejuvenated, hasn't he? Like he's just got bags of energy again. And not to like say this in a way that sort of discredits him, but a large part of his game is based on energy. Like he's up and down that touchline, he's pressing, you know, he's quite often the guy that we play the ball to get us out of defence, if that makes sense. We often play it round and then Virgil will play it to him who's quite high and wide and he'll bomb on and then overlap the left winger and stuff. So his energy is key to his game. You know, how often have we seen it in the last 10 minutes of a game where we're trying to hold on to a lead? He's actually the guy doing a press, or he's the guy carrying the ball up the pitch by himself single-handedly. Like he's always had such a good engine on him. And then, like you say, yeah, the crosses and stuff. I mean, what helped in today's game in particular, the first half, was that our passing was better. So we were able to sort of work some triangles and get out of defence and move up the pitch. And it just created so much space for the guys to run into. And Robbo was one of the guys that just exploited it. Like so many times on that left-hand side, you'd get the ball and there'd actually be a gap between the keeper and Southampton's defence where he could put the ball in. You know, I think there must have been 3 occasions I can think of where he's literally on the edge of the pitch on the left-hand side, and you've got Salah running sort of central of the goal or back stick, and it's just like there's acres of space, and he's so good at that sort of low curled cross into that danger area, the area of unknown, as you call it, you know, between the keeper and the defence. But his variety of his crosses ain't quite as good when defenders are so deep and that space isn't there. But he's been part of the difference for Liverpool in recent weeks where we have played better, him coming back in and having that energy and leadership. And he's a player that, like, leads by example in what he does in his play. His energy levels and his determination and his fight and the fact he'll put a tackle in and he'll run out with the ball and all of that, I think, rubs off on everybody else. I think if everyone watches him putting that level of effort in, then you feel like you've got to match it. So he is verbal and like he will shout at people, especially the opposition, like he's always up for a scrap. But I feel like it's his actual play that is like that shows so much leadership. And yeah, I think he's been great since he's come back, and he's kind of proved that maybe with a bit of rest, some other players could get back to the level they were previously at, you know. So there's a positive in that as well.
Definitely, Kev, definitely. Ricky, your thoughts on Robbo since coming back from injury?
Yeah, I think Robbo took it personally that Costas comes in and plays decent when he's obviously not in the team. But the thing with Robertson, it seems like he's improved a little bit this season, is sometimes his crosses are just hit and hope. Just puts it in the box and hope someone gets onto it. Today it looked like he was looking for players. And I mean, it ain't that hard to find Darwin Nunes. The geezer's 100 miles an hour all game running around. So, and he picked him out twice. And obviously we scored from it. But yeah, I mean, Robertson looks refreshed and that he's ready to get back to the levels he was once at. And listen, to be level with Leighton Baines for assists in the Premier League, then he's going to easily overtake that and go down as the leading fullback assist in the Premier League history. That, I mean, you can't complain really, can you? I mean, that's top draw. And hopefully he continues the form going forwards for years to come. And I know it sounds bad, but Costas ain't Robbo's level when Robinson's on it. So hopefully he can stick to it and continue to create records and history with Robbo at left back.
Oh, definitely. And do you think Robbo's a little underrated because he's Scottish?
Robbo's underrated purely because he plays for Liverpool. I mean, the amount of fans that here are, all he was a person that runs around for 90 minutes. That's all I heard from rival fans. All he does is run around. All right.
Yeah.
He's smashing assist every season, but if that's all you want to actually see what he does.
He defends really well as well. He's a good defender as well. Quality.
And what no one talks about as well is like we always criticize Trent and we always say, oh, you have to have a midfielder that helps him out, or Salah cheats, so he's left alone and stuff, right? Which is true. And don't get me wrong, Thiago plays on the left-hand side more often than not, even though he does get injuries. But like that left forward changes all the time. And like Robbo, I've never come on here and spoke about Robbo and tried to justify a game that he's had by saying, but in fairness, he's not getting help from the forward or he's not getting help from the midfielder and stuff. Because he just deals with it. Like, that's how good he is. Like, you never talk about Robertson defensively. He's just always switched on. Like, maybe going forward, you could think, the crossing could be better or he looked tired and this and that. But he's always just remained such a solid left back, which for so many teams in this league, that would be good enough. But for a Liverpool team, you have to have everything about you. So I thought I'd just highlight that point because when we were talking about Diaz earlier, we were saying part of the reason why Nunes might fit in this team better than Diaz is because you actually understand what you're getting with him. Whereas with Diaz, I imagine when he picks up the ball, Robertson's not sure what to do. Make an outside run, make an inside run, stay back.
That's a good point. That is a good point. At least when Robbo knows Darwin's got the ball, he's got one thing in his mind.
Yeah.
That is a very, very good point. This is a good point as well, and it won't be spoke about because he's not a Scouser and he don't play for Liverpool. But Cancelo, I've said it as well. Cancelo, him and Trent, there's not a lot of difference. There is not a lot of difference. They're both amazing going forward, but they're both suspect defending. And Cancelo gets away with it because most of the time, City have 97% of the ball, and it's not a problem. But it won't ever get questioned because he plays Man City and he's not a Scouser. But Trent, I don't see much difference between the two guys. I really don't, between Cancelo and Trent as defenders.
Cancelo
both got ability going forward, like hardly anyone around at them positions. But defensively, they're both suspect. But it won't ever get mentioned. People in the media won't talk about it. Radio stations won't talk about it. YouTube channels won't talk about it because his name's not Trent. Simple as that. Simple as that. Trent moves. That's what I always say. They always dig at Trent. All rivals dig at Trent, but they always compare their players to Trent. So obviously in their heads they know Trent's the better player, don't they?
And if you're Trent, right? If you're Trent, you're thinking, you know what? When I'm good, I get, told I'm generational and the best right back and redefining the position. And when I'm bad, everyone jumps on it. But do you know what? If I was just solid like Robertson and like a good left back, no one would talk about me at all. So he's probably thinking, you know what? I'd rather be spoken about. So I'll continue the way I'm doing my thing. Yeah.
He come out the other day, didn't he? Did it? He said it. He goes, they spoke to everyone told me that I'll change the right back position. What it means. I'm generational. I'm this and that. And now I can't defend all of a sudden, and I'm one of the worst right backs.
He was right though. It's true in what he said though. Everyone was saying it. Trent's redefining what a right back is. People want to be grown up to play right back. Who wants to grow up and play right back? Carragher famously said. Trent was doing it. And now it's like right. Now we've got to find something. He's shared defending. Right, that's it. Right, Trent can't defend now, and he's useless right back. The man's never going to win. It don't matter how good his career goes on forward now. People always go label him with something, unfortunately, and that's just the pettiness of football. Sometimes, in my opinion,
he could smile a little bit more though. You see him coming off the pitch today.
Trent's a moody fucker. I will say that.
He?
Trent is a moody fucker. He is like a 16-year-old boy at times, ain't he?
It's like it's like a 16-year-old that we've just asked to come out of his bedroom to play a game, and he's fed up.
You probably have to listen to Pep Linders read a paragraph out of that book.
Look, we play Pep Linders ball today. Klopp's in trouble.
Oh, wow.
Jamie, quick question. Neymar or Gareth Bale?
Gareth Bale all day long.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that thing that Gareth Bale even won a trophy with LA Galaxy and it said and had a red cross against Spurs? So all the clubs he's played for, he's won everything apart from at Spurs. It's just not LA Galaxy. Is it LA Galaxy he plays for?
No, LA, it's the other team, LA.
Yeah, the other one, ain't it? The other one, he's just winning another trophy out there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll be feeling well stuff. Yeah, I mean, Trent. I think Trent is just that. I think he's a bit moody. And obviously on TV it never comes across well, does it? That's the way it is. Let's talk about Harvey Elliott, guys. Harvey Elliott. Now, Harvey Elliott is a player I've always stuck by because I think he's a fantastic little player. We all do on the channel as well. And I always see people on Twitter after every Liverpool game. There's a few knobheads on Twitter that love. I think they just click, they just paste and copy every week. What does Elliott actually do? Watch your game. How about you sit there, put your phone down, hide it somewhere, and watch the game for 90 minutes if you don't know what he actually does. It irritates me. He is so... This is what I'll say about Elliott, especially watching him today. He's so good on the ball. He's comfortable in possession. He's good on the half turn. He recycles play really well, right? You should have players like that in your midfield. You don't always need a midfielder who can do, the Thiago passing or, the Gerrard gut busting runs and 20 goals a season, all that sort of stuff. He's very good with possession. You can pass in the ball. He'll keep the ball. He retains possession. He's good at passing. Some of his passing today I thought was class. His assist. There was some times today when he was on the sideline and he was receiving the ball and he would turn away from the opposition player and play a nice simple ball. It looks on the eye, but it keeps the game going, keeps the ball moving, and keeps everything going. And Harvey for me is he's going to be a special player in the years that come. We've got to look after him. Don't play him too much. Look after him. Once more players come into this midfield, better players come into this midfield, it will only help Harvey Elliott. It won't degrade. It won't lessen his game. He'll only get better from it because I think Harvey's got that determination to be the best if he wants to be, and I think it helps his game getting new players in as well. Don't know what you think, Ricky, because I know you've got to go. So, yeah, give us your thoughts on Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young lad that has had a lot of pressure on his shoulders in terms of the team that we've got, in terms of squad depth in that position. No one fully knows what position he is. He's not quick enough to be a winger. He's not got the defensive mindset to be a centre midfielder. Me personally, I think he's a 10. Wants to be in the middle of the midfield and the attack. But listen, he's doing a job. Like I said to you before we went live, if De Bruyne played that pass to to Nunes today for his first goal, everyone would be like wetting themselves on social media over it. But it was a Harvey Elliott, no one cares. I mean, the pass is unbelievable. And he cares. He loves the football club. But I just think if we had more investment, you won't be seeing Harvey Elliott play week in, week out in that team because he's a young boy.
And you don't need to. You don't need to. Do
like, you just pick his games and pick them well, give him that confidence boost here and there. Maybe even another loan to a better Premier League team where he's going to play week in, week out in a position that he prefers to play instead of a top team going for the Premier League. But listen, I've got nothing against him. I think he's going to be a top talent, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, I think we get to. I mean, the kid's 19 years old.
Yeah,
I think it's because Foden's an exceptional footballer, so everyone just goes to that. Oh, look what Foden's doing. Yeah, but there ain't many other 19-year-olds in the whole world of football that's doing what Foden's doing. So you can't just tar the brush with that. So, as you say, I think he's playing exceptionally well for a 19-year-old at this moment in time. But Ricky, I know you got to go, my man. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Please go and subscribe to the 1892 Reds podcast, guys. Help them get to 700 subscribers. They're great guys. We've seen a lot more of them as well. We'll get them more on the channel as well as we're going on. So go and give them a sub, guys. Share the Liverpool community, and guys, and give the right people subscribers, because there's some people who don't deserve it. But yeah, big up to you, Ricky. Much love.
Take care, lads. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Ricky. See you later.
Big up, Ant. How you doing, Ant? So Ant as well will be on the show next week when we're doing our top 10 show. That is going to be Argument City.
It won't be, because Ant's going to put Muzzy Izzet in there, and Steve Walsh, and them, man.
Steve Walsh, So yeah, big up to Ant. How you doing, man? Brendan's Bastard Blues are back. So yeah, Harvey.
Yeah, he's today I thought he was one of the main reasons why we were so good, because we just had the ability today, especially in the first half, just to keep the ball, and quite often it weren't particularly flashy, but it's just nice and simple, and quite often that's all you need. And he just really adds that, because look, we know Thiago can do it. He retains the ball so well and plays it around corners and links up with people, creates triangles. Fabinho, not so much, but he'll do a job just giving it back to the man that just gave it him. But Elliott's doing it a bit as well. And between the three of them in that midfield, they just kept hold of the ball so well. And we were able to sort of, work our way out of defence from it, and then obviously create areas to attack Southampton today. He might go down as a player that, he won't be like a Phil Foden. He won't get so many goals and assists, but he might be somebody that you'll look back when, let's hope Liverpool have a fantastic team and and have a really good season. And you'll look back and go, he wasn't like the standout guy, but he's also really important. Do you know, if that makes sense? He won't be the star, because the star will be a Salah or a Nunes or a Van Dijk or what have you. But he will play a key role because he's just so good at just retaining the ball and keeping it ticking over and, giving it to the guys that are a bit more creative. And then if he can add to his game, like he did today, where, the Nunes assist, but even better than the Nunes assist was a pass that he played to Nunes, which he had in his own, kind of on the halfway line, and he was being pressed, and it looked like he was just going to, play it back to the defense, but actually he spun and picked out a pass that, we come to expect from Trent, really. Nunes was on the run, played it in between both centre-backs. And if it weren't for a better touch, Nunes could have just, slotted it away. So if he can add that kind of to his game, maybe contribute a bit more with goals. I think he panics a little bit when he gets into shooting areas. if he can add that to his game, then yeah, he's an absolutely brilliant little player. But as I say, I don't think he's going to be like. I don't think you're ever going to look at him like a Maddison or a Foden, where you literally can throw stats at him. But if you watch the game, like literally watch the game, then you can see what he'll bring to the team.
He retains possession so well.
Yeah,
and he's comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he gives possession work. Elliott barely gives away the ball. That's one thing I will say for him. He barely gives away the ball.
He's getting better at receiving it as well, because quite often when he first sort of got into the team, if he played it into his feet, it was fine. But if he played it with pace or high or whatever, he was a little bit uncomfortable. But he seems to be now, especially today, the ball was coming into him in all kind of ways, you know, all kind of heights and power and stuff. And he was just taking it all down, controlling it. Sometimes he was under pressure. He still managed to get the ball and you know, keep hold of it and turn it over. I feel like him, when he like pulls out wide as well, it allows Trent to sort of go infield a little bit, which I don't particularly like. But you know, I suppose it's a variety in your attack. I think he's great, and his attitude is second to none, really. Like, he's a Liverpool fan, so quite obviously he's gonna, you know, play with his heart on his sleeve. But he's got a maturity to his game now as well. Like, we've seen it when he played in minutes in the Derby game. He's a bit of I'm not sure a born leader, but he really understands, you know, his role at Liverpool. And being a fan, I think he just kind of gets it. You know what I mean when I say that? He just gets it, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think sometimes and you get these players and they're fantastic, but they come over from like Europe and they turn up and they don't quite work for whatever reason, whether it be the culture or the language or the style. They've not watched too much of the team, so it takes them a while to fit. Whereas Harvey's a fan. He's clearly watched Liverpool all his life. He's followed them, you know, seen images of that. He knows what he needs to do when he comes into the team. It's just whether he can do it. And at the minute, he is. So I think at his age, I think he's going to be a really good player for us.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was excellent today as well. I've seen people talk about Thiago in the chat, so we'll get to him. Also, I see everyone talking about Savage. So look, where is Savage now? It's the $1 million question. So I think he's just doing his own thing right now. He's sort of blocked contact from everybody. So me, Cav, all the other Liverpool YouTubers. You know, he's not even in the comments in anyone's shows at the moment either. You know, he's not in anyone's live chats. I think he's just concentrating on him at the moment. And if that's what he wants to do, we'll leave him be. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure
that's the answer, guys.
Because when I watch him on his wrestling show, man, and he looks perfectly fine. But yeah, we don't really know. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he's all right.
He'll be all right.
He'll be back eventually. He's just doing
a big boy.
He's just doing his own thing. Yeah, Thiago. So I thought Thiago was all right, man. I thought Thiago was all right today. What it is with Thiago, because of the way he can move a ball, the way he passes the ball, at the moment is not quite there in his game for some reason. I don't know why. But everything else to his game is there at the moment. You know, he defends well in the midfield. That shimmy is still there. You know, his pressing is still there. I still think he's putting in good performances. He's still helping the team, but we are just used to seeing the sublime Thiago, ain't we, lately, with the passing ability he has, the vision he has, the control in the midfield. And that's just not there at the moment, is it, Kev? But I still don't think he's performing poorly, though.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I feel like today he was a bit better, though. You know, I mentioned it. I can't remember when I mentioned it now, actually, but maybe in the last preview, if not the preview before, I felt like his performances, whilst being good, they just weren't really like exceptional. And we've come to, accept exceptional from Thiago. And he's sort of getting caught in possession a little bit. His passing was a little bit off, and this wasn't impacting the game, whereas usually we expect Thiago just to run a midfield. Felt like he was better today, though. Felt like he had a bit more energy, a bit more bounce in his step, and he was linking up really nicely. Not particularly long passes, but just nice, short, intricate stuff. I thought he was better. I think defensively he was sound. He might just be one that benefits from a break. He's obviously not going away with Spain, is he? So he's going to have a bit of a break and a bit of a pre-season or mid-season, should we call it? Yeah, and he might benefit from that. Maybe he is tired. He's a guy that does pick up injuries, but as soon as he's fit, he's thrusted back into the team. He probably feels quite a bit of pressure as well with all the quality that he has. He knows how important he is to this team, and if no one can do the job that he does, so when he plays, he maybe feels a bit of pressure on him. I don't know. He's an experienced player, obviously, but I felt he was better today. He's not quite doing the exceptional stuff that we expect. Maybe we take for granted the little shimmy where he goes around people and just, bypasses in midfield. I mean, he's still managing to do that. But the passes, the 40, 50-yard raking passes and the little blind passes round midfields, to get it into the forward lines and, curling a through ball through to the forwards and stuff. We're not quite seeing that stuff, but, hopefully that will just come with it when he gets back after a bit of a break, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what I'm saying, he's not performing to the way he should perform at the moment. But as you say, it's not like he's still okay as well at the same time. So it's not a worry at the moment. Fabinho. I thought Fabinho was a little better today, but there's still problems with Fabinho that, unfortunately, players can still just walk past him. And it happened today again. Look, we've got to be fair. Look, in that second half, Southampton put a lot of pressure on us. And we're going to get to one of the main reasons that game was 3-1 in a minute. But, Fabinho, again, was good today. I thought he was much better today. And he had his head on today. His game face was there. He looks like he's moisturised. He looks a bit younger. He looks like he's looking after himself. Maybe him and Rebecca have made up. I don't know. But, he looked a bit fresher today. But it's just that there's still a problem with that players will just still go past him quite easily at times. And it happened again today as well. And I just think now we're going to have to look at it and think, you know what? Fabinho can still be good in a game and still have a good game, but that might still happen occasionally. And we might just have to go, that's just the way it is. I don't know how you feel about that, Kev.
Felt like he was slightly better, but I feel like because it was Southampton, and yes, they did create chances, and a certain man saved our skin today, who I'm sure we'll talk about. For the most part of the game, we controlled it, and the midfield controlled it. But I didn't think it was necessarily him. And when the questions have asked of him, as in, can you break up play? Can you stop attacks? You're right. People are still skipping by him. I feel like up against a better team and, better midfielders and forwards, that kind of performance wouldn't be good enough. I feel like it's okay because we win. And, the chances didn't necessarily come because of him as such. I think it kind of brushes his performance under the carpet, if I'm being honest. I didn't think he was great. Like, his passing was better, but it was all very simple, which, to be honest, that I'm happy with because he couldn't even do that for so long this season. His passing was fine. It was simple. He kept the ball. Challenges were a bit 50-50, would win some, would lose some. It's not really got that aggression in his game yet, where he's just willing, first and foremost, he should just win the tackle and win the ball, and if not, don't let the man go by you. But he just seems to people can just coast by him still. And it weren't a problem today, because they ain't particularly good forwards or a particularly good team. But as I say, you play someone else and put in that same level of performance, we'd soon be sat here talking about how much worse it was, I think. So, it's worrying. Like I said earlier, if Robbo can come back after having a good rest, could Fabinho? He was the kind of guy I was alluding to, but then he's not going to get the rest till the summer. So,
I mean, I doubt he plays many minutes for Brazil at the World Cup because I think they go with Fred, don't they? So I'll be surprised, but hopefully he does. I mean, I'd like to see him get some minutes. It'd be good for him to have a World Cup.
It'd have been ideal for him not to have gone.
But
he was always going to go, but it'd been ideal for him not to, because if he could have had this break, we could have really have seen what the real Fabinho was in the second half of the season. We're probably going to have to wait till next season now, after he has a summer off.
That's true. And look, with the Fabinho thing, I'm this thing now. I'm thinking, if investment comes in before next season starts, and that definitely happens, we get taken over before next season, and then we have a big transfer window in the summer, then I'm willing to give Fabinho another chance, because maybe with better, younger players, more technical players around him, quicker players, Fabinho would be absolutely fine. But with the players around him at the moment, that might be why he's struggling. I'm just willing to just give him that one chance because of what he's actually done for us.
Yeah.
So, I'm willing to do it, because I know there's still a player in there. You know what I mean? I know there's still a player there, but I did say yesterday on Saints channel that when you lose your mobility, it's very hard to get that back. And he's 29, and I'm just thinking, in football terms, 29, 30, that's your peak. As you where you're at now, as you're not going to get any better. Usually, that's where you level out and stay till you're around 33, 34 before you retire. You're at your optimum best.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's going to get his that mobility back. It gets sharpness back. Now, the different thing is, if he has a rest, he gets his sharpness back. And with sharpness, will that hide the issue? Because he doesn't sharp either at the moment, does he?
And that's the point, like Robertson looked like he was done for as well before he had his rest and came back, and he's only a year younger. I don't know if Fabinho just needs a real good rest, and then for the team to be playing better, and then he'll just be maybe not back to what he was, because he probably was the best in the world, to be fair. When he was at his best. He might not be back to that, but he can be back to a level where he's good enough to play for us. I certainly wouldn't want to get rid of him just yet, because I'm not convinced he is dead and washed. I know a lot of fans do think he is, but I'm not convinced just yet. I feel like I need to give him another year and see him after having a rest in the summer, and then go from there. But I would certainly come, if not this January, come summer, be looking to sign someone anyway in that position, regardless, because either way, if he gets back to his best, he needs that competition, he needs that rotation. So it shouldn't really stop our plans to get that 6 in. So
no, exactly. I agree, man. I agree. So look, they got back in the game in the second half. There's no doubt about that, especially with the subs they made. It helped them. I've been saying this for a while now. I think the more, for Liverpool's performances, I think they will get better with the games we win. When we continue to keep winning games, I think Liverpool will see out games better. So I think Liverpool have forgotten how to win, and that's why they sort of struggle in second halves. So I think the performances, you're seeing the last few games, the performances, just apart from the Derby game, because it was a league, it was kids and all that. Take the Derby game out of it, I think you've seen the performances just get a little bit better of each win. And let's face it, Alisson Becker, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. There is no doubt about that. His one-on-one saves is just becoming ridiculous now, ain't it?
Oh, just ridiculous. I think we just get used to it, but we really shouldn't, because to pull off the 3 crucial saves he did today is just mental. He is so good, and a game that just felt so comfortable, so easy. I don't know how you felt, Jamie, but maybe it's because we was 2 up and at home, but I felt like that second half, even though we were under pressure, I was still relatively calm, especially in the last 20 minutes. I felt, we're not going to concede. But if you go back and look at it, we quite easily could have drew that game without Alisson. With a not even ordinary, just with a good keeper, we'd have drew that game today. The stops that he pulled off were insane. Like that one-on-one, yeah. But do you remember the one that Shea Adams got his head on when he ran across and bodied Gomez?
Yeah.
And he just headed it from about on the penalty spot, and he just got down with a strong hand and put it out. And you're like,
that he shouldn't have saved that. He's just
that is ridiculous.
I've said it before. This man he can do everything for a goalkeeper in this generation. He's good with his distribution. He's good with his feet. His one-on-one saves. I think he's the best in the world at it. He's almost impossible to score against. That reminds me of Schmeichel in the 90s.
Yeah.
Schmeichel in the 90s used to be irritating because he was like impossible to score against. And then I'm looking at Alisson now and like, you've got to do something special, put the ball in the back of the net. You really have. I mean, the goal we did concede, you can't even blame Alisson for that because, that's just, he ain't got a chance for that sort of thing.
No,
but
yeah.
My God, we are just so lucky. We are so. I don't know, Don. I think Alisson's better than Manuel Neuer right now. I mean, Manuel Neuer's like, what is he, 38? I think I still fit, and he plays.
I don't even think Neuer's played all of this season. I think he's been injured.
No, he's got skin cancer.
Oh, has he?
I think so. I think I saw an article about it. If I'm wrong, I apologise. But I swear I saw an article about it.
I just knew he was out, so I assumed injured. But...
Yeah. And he's been having treatment and all that. I think he's fine. He's like and all that, but he's been having treatment while playing.
Right.
I just think he plays in a less intense league in Germany. What would a 30-year-old Neuer do in the Premier League? I think there would be mistakes thrown in there. And I think Alisson, I just think in a busier league, I think Alisson is, for me, just ridiculous. And a clean-shaven Alisson, fuck him. I hate this man so much now. He's good looking with a beard. He's better looking without a beard. Life ain't fair, Cav.
No, I disagree. I think he's better with the beard.
I think he's better with the beard. He's still fucking like... He walks into my room. He walks into my house. He's having my wife. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean?
This bloke has got it all. He can play guitar. He baptizes people. He's the best keeper in the world. He can do any hairstyle. He's the only man that looks good with a frigging mustache. Like,
how many hairstyles has he had? And they all suit him.
Long hair, short hair. Scores goals, gets assists. I mean, this guy he should be on the front of GQ or something. Like, he is man of the year every year. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if I go that far, but Pope is a very good goalkeeper, very underrated. But
the sad thing is, Jamie, though, this game, like, will focus on Darwin Núñez and stuff. And, like, yeah, everybody else who doesn't watch the game or just watches highlights or what have you, they'll think, Southampton at home, routine win, blah, 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 move on. And no one will really deep how crucial Ali was. Like, he is the main reason, not the main, because you have still got to score the goals, but he's up there with Núñez today as to the reason why we got 3 points. Like, I know the game looked comfortable for the most part, but in the most key moments, he was exceptional. Like, that was as good as scoring a goal for me. Them saves Ali made.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ali's just... I don't know what his price tag would be for a goalkeeper, but it'd probably be 80 to 90 mil, I suppose. He's just...
It would be record-breaking if you ever did so.
Alisson is clear of Edison. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Edison's probably better with his feet, but as a goalkeeper in general, Alisson's...
Did you watch the Brentford game earlier? It's a bit shaky.
This is me off back, Cav. I've said it already. I don't think personally that Man City have been that good this season. I think Haaland has masked it all. I think because of Haaland's performances and Haaland's goals, getting crucial goals at crucial times, masks City's actual performances. I don't think they've actually been that great. And by the way, when Haaland's not scoring, what does he do?
Yeah.
What does he contribute when he don't score? I think you and me said this. If that keeps going for a few games in a row, more people will start talking about that.
Yeah.
And start to ask that question.
That's the thing, because like it was like, oh, Haaland's coming to the league and it's an incredible goal scorer, not denying that. But then all like you see all the PR, all the Premier League like build-up shows, it's Haaland, he's chucked in your face. And then when he don't score, I know he's been out for injury, but he plays and he doesn't score. It's like, don't talk about him. Just don't talk about him. No one's willing to say he was terrible. You just don't talk about him. It's like, oh yeah, he didn't score today, that's it, end of. You're like, nah. You got to highlight. If you're going to chuck it in my face as to how good he is when he's good, you got to also talk about him when he's bad, and he was. You know, give him his dues. He's coming back from injury. Maybe he's not 100%, but and it might not last. He might still bag 30 goals in the league this season. But yeah, you're dead right. I think for Man City though, I've watched them a few times this season, and I feel like not just Haaland. I think you're right with the Haaland thing, but I just think moments, and it's if it's not Haaland, it's De Bruyne. There's just moments in the game that's won it for them, and it has masked a pretty average performance. Like I watched them against the Leicester game, and I'll never get that 90 minutes back because it was the most boringest thing I've ever watched. They just literally didn't know how to break down Leicester. Like they just couldn't get by a low block, and in the end, they obviously won it with a quality Kevin De Bruyne free kick. But that, again, that'll just be forgotten. Whereas if it's Liverpool, it's like, not just us because we're fans, but even neutrals. Like I chat to some of my mates that aren't Liverpool fans, and they'll be like, "Oh, what's wrong? Something's not quite right there," and start labeling this and labeling that. But when it's Man City, it's like, "Oh yeah, well they just win, don't they? One way or another, they win." They just mask over that performance that was pretty bang average. They keep thing is as well. Sorry, they keep the ball so much. That's the thing that's deceptive. Do you know what I mean? Like they will just keep the ball and they'll walk away from the game, maybe having won 1-0 or whatever, and they'll have all the stats that makes it sound like they were better than they were, because they'd have done 600 passes, and it would be like Rodri's had the most touches. Remember on Sky when they bring up most touches in the game, and then it's all Man City players and then the opposition player, and then it would be like possession 75, 80%, and it's like, yeah, but have you watched the game? They literally did nothing with it for half of it, more than half, and then they score a fantastic goal and win the game, and you're just like, okay, yeah, they're cool. It's Man City, dominated the game, opposition couldn't get near them, got 3 points, move on. It's like, oh no, actually, they weren't very good. I'm sure they'd have wanted to score more goals if they could.
Oh, I mean, I agree. Like, but guys, we'll go end it there. I know people are saying about match ratings. What I'm going to do match ratings Monday afternoon at 12:30, guys. So Monday afternoon at no, not Monday afternoon. Sorry, where are we? Saturday. I will do them tomorrow, guys. I apologise. It's not Sunday today, is it? I will do them tomorrow, guys. So match ratings will be up tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. I'm forgetting my days. I'm shattered, mate.
It's because Liverpool don't play at 3 o'clock.
I'm used to Sunday games, but yeah. So player ratings will be tomorrow, guys, because I do like to watch a game back twice if I can, just so I get the ratings correct and I don't underrate someone when they should have been better or rate someone too much. After Dark podcast as well, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, guys, because Penny will be home in 10 days' time, and then the whole family's back together, and I can get back to, we can all under one roof again, and I can be putting out more product on the channels, guys, so I can get back to stuff like that as well. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for player ratings, guys. And then Monday night, we have got the World Cup preview on the channel. And then we got some other little things going forward, some debate shows and top 10 lists. And then we got the World Cup on Monday, the following Monday. So that's on the channel, guys. Thank you for coming in. I do appreciate it. Me and Cav will see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.
Cheers, guys.